Hey guys, so I'm going to be going over product rule and chain rule today. Well, at least in this video. Okay, so here's what our function looks like. G of x is equal to 7x times this big old thing. Well, I say big because it's to the power of 4. Well, the inside's not too bad, but we're gonna have some rules when we take this derivative, because we got this inside. Well, we got something to a certain power with a whole bunch of stuff in it. So when we usually have variables minus something or plus something on the inside of a that's all being taken to a power, we use chain rule, and hopefully I could show that and clear some things up if you've been struggling with this. So something I want to do with this is I like to write the roadmap for it. That's just me. So what I'm going to start off with, because I know I'm going to take G prime, so I'm going to say G, right, of all this stuff. Cool. Okay, so I'm taking the derivative. So what we're going to do is I'm going to write this roadmap. So f prime of g. I'll show you what I'm calling g and what I'm plus g prime of f. All right, this is kind of the notation where this 7x is going to be our f, and this everything else is going to be our g. So something that I like to do with these problems is to kind of separate it out, to start with what f is and then kind of work from there. So we know f is equal to 7x. So f prime is just the derivative of this, which is nice because since it's to the first power, we're just going to be left with 7. Cool. Pretty easy, pretty simple. This is going to be a little bit not more difficult. It's just got some layers to it. So we're going to say 2x to the third minus, and we got this weird 40.2 in here. I don't know. And this is going to be to the fourth power. Just double checking, make sure that we're consistent. Yeah. And the 40.2 is really to almost throw you off. But you'll see how shouldn't be too bad. Okay, so now let's say we're going to do g prime. It's equal to... So here's the thing. When we take this derivative, we're going to have to do power rule first. And then we're going to take the derivative of what's on the inside. So, yeah, let's get started. Some books like to do a U sub in here and things like that. Hopefully we could jump into this. So what I'm going to do is just bring the power down. We're going to continue from there. So hopefully we can see this. So I'm going to have 4. I've got 2x. Notice how I'm keeping everything on the inside the same. And now, same thing with the power rule. We're going to drop the power by 1. So that's where that 3 is coming from. And then we're going to multiply this, because this is chain rule, by the derivative of what's on the inside. So we're going to have 2x to the third minus 40.2. And there's no power to that. We're just taking exactly what's on the inside. So, you know, what we have on here is going to be out here. So that's like that part of the function that doesn't really change in some ways. That's like kind of what we're playing around. So we do the power rule, and then we take the, because the chain rule, we take the derivative of what's on the inside. So let's continue through with this. So we got 4 2x to the third power minus 40.2. Okay, so this is again that sum rule where the nice, well, it's really different because of the negative sign, but what's nice is that we're going to take the derivative of that 2x to the third separate from that negative 40.2. And that negative 40.2, even though it seems a little weird, that's just a constant. So when we take the derivative of it, it actually goes away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the power rule of this 2x to the third, which is going to give us, so now we're going to be multiplying by 6x. And that's it. That 40.2 is going to go away. Hopefully we can see that. So kind of off to the side, what happened is that I distribute 2x to the third minus that 40.2. We're taking the derivative of both of this. So what really happened was that this went away. We're really only taking the derivative of this 2x to the third, which was going to be our, oops, and I just noticed that I am missing a power. Squared. So 6x squared. Perfect. Good thing I did that to see what happened there. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's kind of what's going on with that derivative. We're just getting that 6x. Okay. Are we done? No, we're just getting started. I know. So what we're going to do is now we're going to follow this, follow our map. So we're almost there. We're just going to be plugging in. So f prime is going to be 7. So that's nice. It's just going to be 7. Let me drop this down a little bit more just so we don't run into any problems. So 7. And then we're just going to be, that's our f prime. And we're going to have g without the prime, just normal g, which was what we had originally. So that's going to be 2x to the third, just looking at the powers. Okay, cool. Minus 40.2 to the fourth. I'm looking at it, and I guess I should say this too, is that to clean this up a little bit, I'm going to combine that 6 and that 4 together. So we have 24. I'm just rearranging how it is. So 6x. Sorry that it got a little cramped in there. Okay. So just so it'll look a little bit nicer for us. Okay. Now we're going to have that plus sign. I'm going to keep that plus sign. That's not going to change. Or at least let's not make it change. And we're going to have g prime. So that's going to be our 24. Guess I should be using brackets for this one because got some layers on it. So this is going to be 24x squared because of that, again, let me highlight that 6 and that 4. Well, that 4 and that 6 are going to multiply to give us 24. And we're going to keep that power of the x squared. And now we're going to have what we had over here. So 2x to the third minus 40.2 to the third. Right, and so that's our g prime, and that's going to be times our f, which was 7x. Whew. Okay, so we got this big old thing that we're looking at. Honestly, looking at it, I can multiply what we can do now, just to kind of clean this up. We are on calculus. We can multiply those two things together, so let's kind of do that. I'm going to keep this left side the same, and this is all, again, so this is going to be equal to our original g prime. So, g prime, and that's of x. Okay, just to kind of keep it all the same. All right, so let's say this. Now, I think a mistake some people might do is to jump in and be like, hey, I could take this 7 and distribute it. You can't really, like, I think what you were thinking, or what some people might be thinking is that 14. No, you'd actually have to take that power, that 7 to the power 4. So let's not do that. We actually don't want to distribute that 7. We kind of want to just move on and keep that 7 there. And it's because of that. Well, that's really because of this power to the 4th that we got to be careful of when we're thinking about distributing. And we cannot, also, you might be thinking, well, I could take that power of 4 and distribute it to everything else. No, we can't do that either. Some of those rules happen a little bit differently, and we'd have to FOIL all these things out. And we don't want to do that. This is, we're really focused on the calculus of this problem. Not the algebra, because that'd suck. Having something to the power of, I think we'd have to the 12th power. Anyways, let's not worry about it. All right, so we're going to have 7 to the 2x to the 3rd. So we're going to keep this the same, minus 40.2 to the 4th. Keeping that exactly the same. What we can combine are this, because we have like a term, and another major term, and then another major term. Again, I can't distribute the 7x to the inside, so what we want to do is we could actually combine that 24x squared and that 7x, because they're being multiplied. Can't combine this with what we have over here. Which I think I've seen a little bit of. That's a common problem. Like, we can't just combine everything because it's plus sign. So that plus sign is kind of keeping the left side and the right side separate for now. But when we have multiplication, we can combine terms. And the easiest terms to combine right now are this 24x squared and that 7x. So 24, let's get the calculator out. 24 times 7 is going to give us 168. So we got 168 x to the 3rd power, because when we multiply to, we have an x squared times an x, that's kind of like saying x to 2, because there's a visible 1 power, x plus 1, which is equal to x to the 3rd. So yeah, hopefully we can see that. So now we're going to have x 168 times 2x to the 3rd minus 40.2. Okay. Whew, that's a big number, but again, I can't distribute, or I don't want to distribute this 168x to the inside of these. And we definitely don't want to distribute that 7 inside. So it's looking like that's going to be our answer. I know, we went from something that looked somewhat tame, I guess, that 4 power, that power to the 4th is a big one. But when we started off with that 7x, and then 2x to the 3rd minus 40.2 to the 4th power, we had to do, because this is like F and G, right? And these are two things that are being multiplied together that are of different powers and things like that. When that occurs, we're going to want to do product rule. You should get the same answer if you FOILed everything out, but I would avoid that, especially if it's to the 4th power. So to make things easy on ourselves, we actually, I know, may seem crazy, but I guarantee you don't want to do that. FOIL that to the 4th power out. So to make things easier on ourselves, we actually just take the derivative straight up. And when that happens, we get this product rule. You can see that f prime is pretty nice. Once we start getting used to this chain rule, it becomes a little bit easier, but chain rule could be a little bit tricky. So just be careful. Make sure that whenever you have something on the inside of a power like this, that you're always using chain rule. Because there's a lot going on the inside, so just be careful with that. Take it slow when you do it, and I like to do this map out, and that's how we got to our answer, using that map. Hopefully that helps out a little bit. Remember, Take these slow. These pop up everywhere. Chain rule is, I am telling you, chain rule is everywhere. And it took me a little bit of time to get it down, for sure. This is what our answer is. Yeah. But again, just try to take these step by step. I know we want to jump into these things and start cranking out on these derivatives, but take it from somebody who's made these mistakes a lot. You really want to kind of take it slow, especially if you're not very comfortable with it. And it's okay. Just take that time. It may be a little bit, you might get that little bit of anxiety when you look at problems like this, but remember remember that roadmap. Use that roadmap. Take everything step by step. This is like a little notes off to the side, or we're just doing these little notes and then combining them at the end. Remember to keep that plus sign out too. We're going to get that plus sign from this, because this could come out negative, but you always want to kind of keep that plus in front and then worry about whatever happens later. Later. Just try to take it step by step. You'll get through it. All right. Hopefully this video helped. All right, see you guys.